Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Thank you for joining. For anybody that, just going to wait a couple of minutes, just give everybody a chance to get in. Conscious that some people might have a meeting ending at 11 o'clock, so just bear with us a couple of minutes. We will get started. Hopefully everybody can see my screen okay. Let's bring the chat up as well. Hopefully everybody can see my screen okay as well. I promise you it will be a 1 minute overview on PowerPoint, and we're going to jump into a real live demo today and just take you through Subscribe 360 for the hour, just to give you a nice overview of it and key features, which I hope will be of interest. And we're going to show you both the membership side from the point of view of managing your membership on CRM, and we're also going to look at a self-service members portal from the perspective of your members being able to access all their member benefits, and just give you an idea how some of our clients are using the Subscribe 360 members portal as well. My name's Finlay Carmichael. I'm a consultant here at Kick ICT, who are the developers of the Subscribe 360 platform. And as I say, it probably just take about an hour to go through this today. So hope everybody can hear me okay and see me okay, but we'll get started. So thank you very much for joining. So just to give you an understanding of really the principles behind Subscribe 360. Subscribe 360 we like to position as a membership transformation product. So the idea is that it helps you as an organization to transform your membership organization. How does it do that? Well, engaging better with your customers and your members, and that's through things like the self-service portal, but also being able to get the right communications out to your members at the right time, and also with having better intelligence on your members and how they're engaging and how well they're engaged with your organization. The idea being that you can then do more targeted communication to them and target the right people at the right time. That hopefully also leads to the transformation of your products and services that you can offer. For example, the system also allows you to support multiple membership subscriptions of different types. So you might have your core subscriptions, you may have, for example, additional subscriptions or subscriptions to add-on products. So the idea that hopefully you can extend your offering in the way that people pay for those as well. Fully automating all your processes. For a lot of membership organizations, we see that they maybe have quite time-consuming processes on things like membership renewal, on things like getting the right comms out again, getting the right invoices out at the right time, the reminders on those invoices, the right communications for event reminders, all of these sort of communications that could be automated. And again, I'll show you how Subscribe 360 helps in that basis. And also empowering your employees from the point of view of giving them the right information at their fingertips. They're empowered, they've got the actual information in the form of usable information in terms of maybe it's things like income for the month, event income, membership income, being able to make those informed decisions from the business intelligence that they have within the system. And again, I'll show you examples of that today. It's just a little summary of some of the aspects of that. Help and engage your customers through the self-service tools, optimizing your operations through automated processes, empowering your employees with in-depth information and giving them information on membership engagement, and the idea of transforming your products in terms of being able to adapt your memberships that you offer, the membership levels you offer, automatically categorize people into the right categories, support for things like pro rata and in-year renewals, moving from maybe an annual basis to in-year, where people are renewing at different times of the year to spread your income. So that's just a little bit of an introduction to Subscribe 360, but let me actually show you the product in action. So what we have here is this is the CRM aspect of, or the back office aspect of Subscribe 360. As you can see, it's all built on Dynamics 365 or the Power Platform. You don't actually need a Dynamics 365 license. You can run this with a Power Platform license as well, which keeps the costs down. And what we also have then, so this is the back office, which I'll take you through. And the idea is we have different apps or applications, one for the membership manager or people who are managing membership, and we'll have all things membership on the menu here. But I also have other apps for things like events. I have an app for finance for the finance user. For not-for-profits out there, we also have fundraising, keeping track of pledges, legacies, etc., gift aid. And then we also have membership management, which is the one that we're in here. So if I jump to events, for example, what we should see is everything events in terms of the application and the menu. So just give it a second here. PC's on just taking its time today. You see SD60 events, and on the left-hand side, I therefore have everything to do with events, and then I get a range of events dashboards. So again, in this case, I've got events overview, but I might say, well, I'd like to see the event finance. Again, different dashboards showing me different things. So again, I can see what income I've got coming from my events, current events, my past events, and I can see, again, the revenue per event there, and the revenue via the cost there as well. So again, different information. We can pull out any information into dashboards, but obviously if it's in the CRM, we can pull it out, but we give you a range of out-of-the-box dashboards, which hopefully is a good starting point for all membership organizations. Let me jump back into the membership app just so that we can start just taking you through everything membership. But the idea being is you've got different security roles there as well. So somebody could have access to all of those apps, or they may just have access to one of those apps. So it's really a question of what's appropriate for your users in terms of what they should have access to. In the membership overview here, I can see, for example, how many members do I have that are active. This is just a test system, so we've got 26 full members, for example. So depending on the products that you've classified for your subscriptions or membership, you can see how many people are on those particular membership subscriptions, how many people have joined in the last 12 months, and how many people have left, and what type of subscription have they taken out, who's left in the last 12 months. We can see the mix of how people are paying for their subscriptions or memberships based on, is it direct debit, have we got anyone that's set up free of charge. We've also got how many applications do we have for particular subscriptions and how many are in progress. And again, we can drill down into the detail of those. And then I can see my membership income or subscription income that's come in month by month basis based on the renewals that we've issued for that period. So if you can still do an annual renewal if you wish, or you can, as you can see here, do a monthly renewal depending on what suits your particular organization. So range of dashboards there. I can again see membership engagement. I can see membership management. That will flag to me things like anyone that's overdue, renewal, etc. And again, a range of dashboards that we ship as standard. On the menu on the left-hand side here, it has everything I need to manage membership. So I've got my database of accounts or organization, my database of individuals or contacts. I can access directly the membership records, but I could also get to them via the accounts or contacts because an organization or an individual could be a member. Again, that some organizations, it's the organization that's a member. For some others, it's the individual. And for some, it's a mix of both. And we support all of those different scenarios. I can get access to my membership opportunities or people who are thinking about applying or have applied. We also create a membership summary. So each month we take a snapshot of data to see how many members do you have at each grade, keeping track of the joiners and leavers. And we have the renewal batches there to help you with all of your membership renewals. We support groups and committees. So if you have any groups and committees, maybe you've got regional committees, regional divisions, specialist interest groups, all of that is supported in Subscribe 360, and I can get access to the group members there. But let's look at some of the detail behind this. So if I go into accounts, and again, a lot of membership organizations get us to rename that to organizations. All of the labels that you see here, all of the terminology is completely configurable as part of the implementation. You have different views into your organizations or accounts. So I could say, just show me member accounts, for example. And it will say, here are the organizations that you have that are members. And again, these are pre-filtered, but you can also create your own views, which is a dynamics feature. So you can create your own filtered views, add the columns in, save that as a view to come back to again and again. So any queries you do on the database, you can actually save to help you do your work. I can drill into any particular record. If I drill in here into the Bank of Scotland, for example, again, this is just purely test data, and there's no real data in here. Bank of Scotland, we just set up as a little demo account, and you can see here Bank of Scotland is part of Lloyds Banking Group. These forms and the tabs that you see and the header are all completely configurable, but this is what Subscribe 360 looks like out of the box. Again, easy for me to see who the primary contact is. I can get there. I can quickly get access to their details. I can see who else is working at the Bank of Scotland in terms of who's associated there. I've got their address. And these tabs we can turn on and off, and we can add tabs in specific to you, but I can get quick access to see, show me the membership records for the Bank of Scotland, and they've got a full membership, and they also paid a one-off subscription fee for joining. I can tie back to which one is their key membership record, which I'll go into in a little bit. Each organization can have multiple addresses, and you can specify which one is the main or billing. The same idea with multiple phone numbers, the same idea with multiple emails. Just something that we extended standard dynamics for, but just to reflect that a lot of membership organizations have multiple addresses, phone numbers, etc. I can very quickly get access to all the invoicing information for Bank of Scotland as well, and there I'll see all the renewal invoices, I'll see any sort of event sponsorship, any event invoices for that organization. They will all be listed there as well. We have a classification system. A lot of membership organizations want us to do things like, for example, auto-classify their accounts or organizations or individuals, maybe based on number of employees, number of turnover, number of students, or maybe country of origin. So auto-classify the organization and then vary the pricing of the membership based on that classification. So one of the things you'll see in a second when I look at memberships is you could say this membership is subject to a classification such as, say, low income country, which might mean that you have a different subscription rate for them. That's an example we have for a particular organization. In the header here, I can see at a glance whether they're a member or not. So again, and that is based on the state of their underlying membership subscriptions that we have here. If I go into a membership record, you'll see the membership record, and each membership record will have a period of membership. So the nice thing as well is we can keep track of when somebody's left, rejoined, etc. They will have different periods of membership. So I can see that Bank of Scotland's a UK full member. Again, we're using the Dynamics product catalog for this, and the advantage of that is it means that you can add in new membership categories at any time, or adjust your membership categories. But also by making it a product, it also means that you're in control of the pricing. So these products go on a price list, and you can vary that price list every year. So again, you can choose the pricing for the year. You're in control of the pricing, and again, it's all done using standard Dynamics pricing and price lists. We can see when this person joined. We can see when they're next due to renew. So this membership's due to renew on the 7th of April 2026. It renews annually. They're on a different payment. They're on other payment method. Again, these payment methods are configurable, but the typical ones we would have are credit debit card, direct debit, free of charge, or other. Again, we for some organizations will introduce other things like standing order, etc. But the idea being that if they're paying by, for example, credit card, each of these payment methods will have a price on the price list, and that gives us an advantage of, for example, saying, and again we have this for a lot of membership organizations, I'd like to charge my direct debit payers maybe a slightly different price. Maybe you're giving them a small discount for paying by direct debit. And again, so each of these will relate to what we call a unit on the price list, so you're in control of how much people actually pay for the subscription. We also support the concept of cross-billing, and this is an example you'll see here, where what we're choosing to do is say, well, Bank of Scotland are actually not going to pay for their membership themselves. They would like to bill their parent company, which is Lloyds Banking Group. So we can cross-bill on accounts as well, and that applies to both individuals and at the account level. So any membership can be cross-billed. The beauty of it as well is if, for example, we did a renewal and say there was 10 memberships that all went to, in this case, Lloyds Banking Group, they will get a single invoice. So with the 10 renewals on it. So we don't bombard them with lots of different invoices, even though there's cross-billing. So that's something that we support as well. We keep full track of the membership history of any changes to that membership. So as changes occur, we'll keep track of the changes to it. Obviously, the audit history in Dynamics does that, but it's quite difficult to report on. This allows you to do much easier reporting on that as well. And you can also choose to set up beneficiaries of the membership. So if you choose, for example, somebody says, well, I'll take a membership out, but could you give my subsidiary the member benefits as well, without them taking a subscription out? So again, we have the concept of manual membership beneficiaries if you wish to use that feature as well. So that's a little bit on the membership side of things. And what about if we needed to renew those? So I'm going to look at that in a second with renewal batches, but before I do that, obviously we've also got the database of individuals. So I've got the contacts here, and what you'll see here, again, we've got different views into the individuals that we're dealing with, and they may or may not be associated with an organization. I can say show me all contacts, just show me member contacts. In this case, I'm just seeing the members. And I can say, for example, let's have a look at Amanda's record. And I can see Amanda works or is associated with the Institute of Professional Bodies, a made-up organization. We can see her email, her telephone, etc. And again, if she has a member record, this is an individual with a membership, we can see that, again, she's a full member and she's got an add-on subscription as well. And again, I can drill down into her membership record. I can also see at a glance all of the events that she's attended or booked on. I can see which groups she's a member of and what position she has in those. I can see what preferences she has in terms of GDPR. Also, if she has any particular interests that she would like to receive communications on. Or again, this allows us potentially to personalize the content on the website or portal for her. I can see her email preferences, her phone number, again, a classification for her. We've also got the ability to associate Amanda with multiple accounts. So she might have a key account, but imagine that she has, for example, a relationship, maybe she's a non-exec director of another company, etc. I can keep track of her, where she previously worked. Again, I can keep track of other account associations that she may have as well. Standard Dynamics feature in the middle here with a timeline, you probably saw that on account as well. That just lets us keep track of all the interactions that we have with this individual or that company. And the idea is any emails that are sent from the system or that you send or any of your colleagues send, all of the comms will be then be able to see on the timeline. So you can easily see, for example, the membership renewal emails that have gone out, invitations to attend an event, any cases that we've followed up on. Again, all of the interaction. There's an invoice being sent out to Amanda for a particular thing. And in terms of the emails, any automated emails we're sending from the system and any automated comms, etc., these can be nicely branded. As you can see here, it's just got a Subscribe 360 branding, but that can be branded with your header, with your footer. Again, the emails, these are all based on email templates. And as you can see, it uses merge fields. So for example, the invoice ID, the invoice date, the invoice amount. But this is just a simple invoice I'm showing you here, but that could be a membership renewal email. It could be a membership reminder email. It could be a event booking email. All of those are all managed inside Subscribe 360, and you're in control of those. And also, without any third-party software, we also support document generation, and that is all included in Subscribe 360. A lot of our competitors use third-party products for the document generation. We have our own, and it's all built in. And again, you can see this is it's based on a Word template. Again, you're in control of the Word template, so it could be your logos, etc. You give us the Word templates that you would like to use. And again, the documents are then all merged to say, well, what are you buying? In this case, it's a UK full membership at £74 plus the VAT. And again, we've got a link there directly to the portal to pay it as well. Again, look and feel wise, please appreciate whatever's in the Word document is what will be presented. These are just pretty basic templates we have as standard for demo purposes. But the whole idea is that your emails can be generated automatically and your documents can be generated automatically, and any of the fields can be merged from the CRM and Subscribe 360 into your PDF documents and into your emails as well. How do we do the actual membership renewals then? So let me go into renewal batches. So say we've got these memberships and I'd like to do the renewal for the month or the quarter or the year. How easy is that to do? Well, we have the concept of a thing called the renewal batch. And what you can do is you could say, I'd like to do a membership renewal, a set of membership renewals. I choose the price list that I would like to do the renewal for. So if you remember, I said that the products were on a price list to say how much you charge for those. So I specify the price list I'd like to use, and then I can specify the period of membership I'd like to do the renewals for. So we're sitting in June, I might want to do the renewals for the second half of the year. So in which case I'd say I want to do it from the 1st of July to the 31st of December, for example. So you can do the renewals in advance or any period that you choose. You choose the period of memberships that are due for renewal that you're looking to target. And what the system will do, once you've defined the batch, you just tell it to generate the renewals. And what the system will do is it will go and find all of the memberships that are due for renewal, and whether it's for an individual or whether it's for an organization, and it will create what we call a membership renewal record, which is just keeping track of each time a membership was renewed. And we can see here, we're doing a renewal for Dan McKinnell. And what the system's done is it said, well, he's due a payment, so I'm going to raise an invoice for it. It's also linked it to his previous membership renewal automatically. We have some membership organizations where they want to say, for example, in the renewal letter, last year you paid X, this year you'll pay Y. So if we link the two things together, we can pull that information out into the renewal email. We will also generate an audit trail. And again, this is just, again, so the information is available for you to use in things like your renewal letters, etc. So we're saying, for example, the renewal's running from 2025 to 2026, you're paying annually, you're paying by direct debit on an annual, you're paying monthly. There will be a first payment of £7.49 followed by 11 payments of £7.50. So we can use this information to drive, for example, the data you would like to merge into your renewal letter. We've also generated the invoice automatically. So if we look at the invoice that's been generated, the system will create the invoice renewal. In this case, he's only paying for a single membership, so there's only one thing on it. It's the UK full member, which is on the price list at £74.99 plus the tax, which takes it up to £89.99. Again, it will put the invoice tax date on it based on what I said in the renewal. He hasn't paid it yet. But when he does pay it, the payment will be recorded here. And if he pays it online, then that payment will come through automatically. And we'll have a look at that in a second. Also, if later, say he didn't pay it or there was a mistake and you needed to credit it, you can also raise credit notes in Subscribe 360, and you can also issue refunds as well. To, again, the same way people can make payments. So you've got invoices, credits, payments, and refunds. And again, that's all taken care of in the finance side of things. So the invoice is generated automatically. We've got a thing here called payment plan, which I haven't generated yet on this particular renewal batch. But the idea is that what I can do after I've done generate the invoices, I can choose to say I'd like to generate the payment plans. And that will say, for example, for people that are paying monthly or quarterly, when are they due to pay next? How much are they paying? And again, setting the system up to collect things later on. What we can also do is lock the invoices. So once the invoices have been issued out to the customers, we don't want them changing. In case somebody changes something on the price list, we want to lock the prices on those particular invoices. I've gone ahead and generated the renewal documents on this one, but the idea is then that would kick off the process to generate the emails and the attachments to those emails. So again, fully automating those emails that go out with your renewal letters and your attached to the PDF like I showed you on that email to Amanda. If they are collecting by direct debit or installments, I can go forward and choose to go into what we call a collection batch, which then allows me to say which period I'd like to collect the money for. And I can also go on to the direct debit process to then say I'd like to generate the DD collection file. and we support that in the finance app, but I will hopefully get to that a little bit later. But that's just to give you a flavour of how easy it is to do the membership renewals. We've seen many membership organisations cut what used to be multi-day tasks into a few hours in terms of managing the renewal process. So this can be very much a time saver. I mentioned groups. You'll see here that we have a number of groups. Again, you can obviously create as many groups as you want. You can choose the group type. And again, you're in control of that. And each group will have, for example, a list of members. And people can actually apply to join those groups online, or they can be joined automatically. And you can see if you've got any outstanding group membership applications. You can also issue web roles to the groups to restrict whether there's a restriction on the portal in terms of, for example, giving people access to just specific information because they're a member of that group. And you can also choose to display your groups on the portal, which I'll come on to. So again, we have a lot of organisations where, for example, they might say, well, we've got a council and we would like people to be able to see who's on the council. And again, we can expose that on the portal. But other groups and committees, you may not want to expose who the members of that who are the members of that group on the portal. So you're in control of whether you would like to control that, and also whether you want to allow people to join that group via application. And you can see here, do they need to go through an approval process, or can they just be auto-enrolled, in which case allow them to join without an application as well. So you can also tie groups to events. So if you're running events, you can run an event for a group. So we can create event-specific groups or events specific to that group or committee, which again I'll come on to on the event system. That hopefully gives you a flavour of membership. I'm conscious we've only got an hour, so I'm going to pop over to events now, and then I'm going to do a little bit on the portal as well, just to give you a flavour of some of the other aspects of Subscribe 360. So let me jump into events. So I've got an events app here on the left-hand side, and I've got my event dashboard. And I can see at a glance, for example, what events are coming up, what events have just finished, do I have anybody on the waiting list? Down the bottom here, I can see how heavily booked my events are in terms of there's 50 places, 48 places available, so there's no issue with capacity coming up. I can also see how many events I've got coming up in the various months, and I can also see what events we have by type as well. Okay, so what we can do here, it's just a little bit of a glance of the different events, and I can see, for example, any event. So let's go to event finance, so I can see what's happening in terms of the finance of those events, how much income do I have coming in for those events, etc. The events themselves I can manage here in the Subscribe 360 app. Again, I've got different views of my events, and I can say I'd like to see what events I've got coming up. And these events I can choose whether or not I do or don't want them to be seen on the portal. But let's have a look at the winter conference. So we can see here that we've got an event coming up. It's a conference. It's actually marked as networking, so let me correct that. And let me just say that is actually a conference. It's running in the Republic of Ireland. It's a free event. Again, you can choose the price list for the event, which you'll then have the pricing for all the tickets, which may be free or may be charged for. You can choose to see when the event is starting, what's the start time, when do you want to start taking bookings, when do you want to stop taking bookings, what's the maximum number of attendees. Not only do we allow you to limit the number of attendees, but we allow you potentially to limit any particular product on the price list, be it a ticket or be it an option that they're buying or an add-on here like a coffee mug. The idea is that you can choose to restrict how many member tickets, how many non-member tickets, how many of a particular session or a particular option you would like to sell. So if you've got any restrictions on how many of something you would like to sell, the system will support that through product inventory, and it will also restrict how many people in total you would like to invite to book. You can also get the system to generate marketing lists automatically, so of who's attending, so that you can do comms out to the marketing list using standard email marketing software such as ClickDimensions, Microsoft User Insights, Digital. All of those, you will typically use marketing lists, so we create the marketing list so you can use it with your marketing automation software. We also support an event invitation system, really useful for things like groups and committee events, where you just say you want to send an email out to the marketing list and say, actually, can you come to this event, yes or no? That will issue an invitation out by email, and then the people can say, yes, I'm coming, no, I'm not coming. So effectively do an RSVP system rather than having to go through a big onerous booking process. They can easily just say, yes, I'm coming, or no, I'm not coming. So event invitation system is a feature a lot of our clients like. We support waiting lists, so you can have the waiting list when the event is full, so people can join the waiting list. And we can also automate the sending out of joining instructions or post-event notes to go out to people. Again, can be tied into the event reminder system, which I'll show you. We support CPD, continuing professional development, so you can auto-award CPD points when somebody attends a particular event. And we do have a CPD system built into Subscribe 360 with CPD targets as well. You can publicize the venue details, and you've got control of whether these events show on the portal and whether or not you want to, if you're doing maybe an event with food, then obviously you do dietary requirements, yes. If it's a webinar, then dietary requirements would be no. You can control how people pay for things. Do you just want to take payment online, or do you want to allow them to request an invoice? So you can turn that on and off on a per event basis. You can also force them to do a purchase order. And we also support a customer credit system as well. If you've got a more complex event, for example, multi-tab display, what does that mean? Let me take you to the portal. This is a self-service portal. This would be branded with your look and feel. This is where your members would come to log in. They would have your look and feel. They can see at a glance what's happening, and they can say, for example, actually, I'm interested in events. Again, this can be linked to from your website. It would be your look and feel. There's the winter conference, and they can drill down into the details of that particular event. See if I've got one with event tabs. I suspect I may not, so apologies if I don't. Yeah, I do have one here with tabs. So these are display tabs. So if it's a simple event, you might just want a section, but you can actually create as many tabs as you want and choose what information you would like to display on that particular event. And based on the event being published to the website, it will then pull the information through, including the price list with all the pricing and what's happening on each day, which again, I'll show you in a little bit. The map for the event, the time of the event, and then someone can choose it. You can see I'm already logged in. So it's saying I'm not booked already, and it's saying would you like to book, and the booking is open. So this button is dynamic based on whether there's spaces available, is the person eligible to book. You can make events specific to a particular member, etc. So let me just jump back. So that's what the display tabs allows us to do. I can see at a glance who's already booked on this event. So I've got Kirk's already booked on the winter conference here. I can see the P&L, so if the event has any invoices or costs, I can book costs against here. And as people book, if it was a paid for event, this is a free event, but as people book, there would be invoices would be associated here. And I can see what my profit and loss is then for my overall event. And I can book things like venue costs, etc. here as well. If it's a more complex event, I can choose to break it up into event days. So I can split the event into multiple days and say what's happening on each day and what's valid for each day. And we can also support multi-currency price lists. So we have some customers who would like to run their events in euros and pounds or euros and dollars, etc. So again, you can create as many price lists as you want for the event and allow people to pay in different currencies. So again, that is supported as standard. You can also restrict the event to specific membership products. So this may be an event that's only available to fellows, or it's only available to associates. Again, so you could restrict the event to a particular membership product or products as well. Once you've set your event up, the person can come along and they can say, right, I'd like to book that particular event. They can go into the booking process. They can say, yes, they would like to book the event. They agree to the T's and C's. I'm going to add another person, or I can add myself. Again, these options here that are configurable on a per organization basis. So not everybody wants to allow people to take to be confirmed bookings, but we support it. Manually provide details, and also if appropriate, you can pick from your organization to say who are you booking from your organization. But those can be turned on and off on a per on how you would like the system to be configured. So I'll just say details to be confirmed. You'll see show tickets. What show tickets does is it checks to see whether the person you're booking is eligible for member tickets. And again, we can choose whether member tickets are available to all. This person is details to be confirmed, so they're a non-member, so therefore they get access to the non-member tickets. And I'll just say I'm going to book for the day 3 ticket. System will then check and say, well, you're coming on day 3, so which of the day 3 options would you like to take? And I'll take the breakfast at £15. Again, that's based on the price list. I can then repeat that process to book as many people as I wish, and then I can go through and then again choose whether or not you want to allow people to cross-bill to their organisation. I'm associated with the Bank of Scotland, so it's saying, do you want to bill it to the Bank of Scotland, or take your own details? Go through to the next screen. This will create an opportunity in the CRM, so we can follow up if people choose not to go ahead, so we can remarket to these people as well. I'll just take a second in this sandbox environment for this to kick in. And then it will give me a summary of the actual booking. So I'm booking the autumn conference. This is who's booking it. I'm booking a to be confirmed person with day 1 breakfast. And I've got the 2 choices of how to pay. I'm going to pay online. It's £165, and I will confirm my booking. So let me just press that button properly. And what the system will do is it will raise an invoice because I chose to say pay online, and it's going to take me straight, in this case, to the Stripe payment gateway. Again, we support Opeo, we support Stripe, and we've got other ones as well. We can integrate a payment gateway of your choice. It will then take me to the payment screen. It's then going to say Stripe for £165. I'm not going to pay it just yet, just wanted to show you another aspect of the portal. Ideally, the person would pay it there, but any invoices that are outstanding for that person will be available, you see, under pay invoices. And that also relates to membership invoices, that relates to, say, they've got sponsorship invoices. Any type of invoice that you've raised for them will be here. You can also choose whether you want to give them access to your organization's invoices as well. There's the one I've just been in the process of booking, and I can pay one or more invoice at once. For those not-for-profits out there, we support the idea of make a donation at the point. Again, that panel can be turned off. And what we can then do is say back into that payment screen I just saw a second ago. So if they do need to come back to make a payment later, they can do. And we can see here, I'll put test Stripe card in and just make that 29. I just need to put a UK postcode in here. And again, this is just in test mode, and make a payment. Payment's made, and the invoice has been paid. And that invoice, you don't remember we were looking at invoices earlier, that would then have a payment against that particular invoice. At this point, my event attendees will actually be booked. And if I look at the event invoices attendees here, if I was on the right event, was it the winter conference or was it the autumn conference? I suspect it was the autumn one because it had a payment on it. And you can see I have just booked, I've actually booked a few people today, and you can see that another to be confirmed person. And if I also go into my profit and loss, I should see the invoice there for that particular event. This one's a bit more populated than we saw. And we can see here, there's the one I just made for £165, and I paid it, so the amount due is actually 0. And again, just to illustrate the payment aspects of Subscribe 360, what we can see is the invoice is paid. The invoice was created for against Finlay Carmichael, day 3 non-member with the breakfast, and there's the payment I just made by Stripe for £165. Okay, so just an example of the event engine, and again, very configurable, can can be configured in different ways for different organizations. Just some other aspects of the self-service portal. Again, if you've got any outstanding invoices, it'll flag it to you. The member can update their own details. Again, you tell us what you would like them to be able to update. It doesn't have to be on. We have a Join Online. We have a framework for Join Online, but obviously most membership organizations will have their own application form with the information you'd like to gather. So again, that's typically configured on a client-by-client basis. But we have a process for joining out of the box and a process for upgrading out of the box, which will take people through a guided process. But typically that is customized to your specific requirements. If somebody can easily see their event bookings, so they can see all the bookings they've made and they can manage it. So again, I've made a number of bookings for the autumn conference, and I said the person was to be confirmed, so I can come in and update their details once I do know who's coming. Again, I can manage their sessions as well. If there's events I'm personally attending, then they will be listed here. And again, I can see my sessions that I've booked. And then for events that I've attended in the past, again, I can access a secure page specific to that event where you might want to publish, for example, post-event materials, etc., to give people access to. So again, giving people access to a lot of information on the portal. Quick access to member-only events. Again, if you make them an account administrator, you may want to allow people to manage the other people within their organization. So again, it's a little bit self-service of allowing someone to add people into your database, allowing them to, for example, tell you somebody's left. Again, maybe not appropriate for everyone, but again, a useful feature. We mentioned groups. We said some groups were published online. So again, I can see the groups that I've published online, and I can see, well, who are the members of that committee? And again, I can see that these are the people that are published as being members of that committee, which we can expose with any information you would like. You can see I'm already an existing member of these. So, and again, I've got an application pending on the Christmas Club. Again, this is controlled by, if you remember, whether or not we said you could apply for the group online or not. For the groups that you are a member of, you can also access your group info, and that allows you then to drill into secure content about that group and also to access, for example, secure documents. So again, we've got SharePoint integration. This is using a thing called Power Pages from Microsoft. All the technology I'm showing you today is based on the Power Platform, which is Microsoft's platform that their CRM product is built on, but also has a thing called Power Pages, which is this technology I'm showing you here, which allows you to create portals and allows you to then integrate that with the CRM. The advantage of that is, one, it's all secured by Microsoft, hosted by Microsoft, but two, it ties in really well with Dynamics. So as I'm making these updates here, it's directly updating the CRM. And also, if I make an update to, say, a form in CRM, that would be reflected on the portal if it's used on the portal as well. So it just means maintaining it is much, much easier. For the not-for-profits that are out there, I've got Make a Donation. So again, if you are a not-for-profit and you want people to be able to make donations to a particular fund, they can do so, and they can make gift aid declarations there as well. And if you have events where you have speakers, you can invite your speakers to the Speaker Hub, and you can basically allow them to keep their bio up to date and update their pictures, etc. And if they are marked as a speaker on an upcoming event and you've got a session you've associated them with, you can allow them to update their abstract for that via the Speaker Hub as well. Just a little bit on membership engagement. As I'm doing things like logging in, as I am marked as attending an event, I will be given a member engagement score, which is configurable, and you can control that and configure what points or scoring you would like to give people. And typically we measure the engagement score over a period, say 6 months, etc. So you can see how engaged or how much are people using the portal, the event system. But what we can also do is tie the engagement to things like your marketing automation software. So did they open an email? Did they open the marketing email? Did they do click-throughs on the email? So by understanding how they're using the portal, understanding how they're using the comms, but also if they're doing things on the portal, such as accessing particular maybe e-learning pages, maybe they're clicking to download particular documents, we can log those as engagement clicks. And those engagement clicks can also be scored to give you an overall engagement score for your member, which is a feature you'll then see on the actual individual in terms of their overall engagement score. So it just means you've got a little bit of a guide there to help you understand who is using the services, who isn't using the services, and you can then potentially do different targeted comms out to those people as well. A little bit on I should have said about the homepage as well. This just shows you an example of personalization. I don't know if you remember the preferences, but the idea being based on my preferences, it will then can show me, for example, news or events that are targeted to myself based on my particular preferences. And again, we can use that framework to personalize content anywhere on the portal or what people actually see as well. We can auto-publish a member directory, and we do that. This is just, again, what we do out of the box, but that is obviously tailored to show the information that you would like to show. We've recently done one as well for where you've got faculty memberships. So if you've got specialist faculties that people are a member of, again, that can be driven automatically to publicize that on the portal with whatever information you would like to show. Other things on the portal as well is CPD. So people can book their continuing professional development. They might have a CPD. I don't have a start and end date on my CPD summary here, but typically that might be, well, you've got a CPT target for the year. As people book events, etc., they will automatically be awarded so many points for attending that particular event. If you wish, we can also allow them to log their other continuing professional development activities, things like reading books, attending external courses, etc., and they can request a copy of their CPD history, and you could also tie this to certificates. And talking about certificates, we also automatically can generate event attendance certificates. We can automatically generate membership certificates, again using the same document generator system I was talking about earlier. We have a very simple shop built in as well. Now, we're not trying to reinvent Amazon here. We get a lot of membership organizations asking us for simple shop requirements where they say, well, there's things we'd like to sell, typically digital products, but it could be physical products as well, where they say, I want to distinguish between a member price and a non-member price, or I want to restrict access to a particular product just to members. So what you can do is you can set up the shop. Shop will have member prices and non-member prices, and the price list used. The price of the shop, the items for sale may be different for members than you have for non-members, as well as having different pricing as well. And again, so it's just a nice little simple shop with a nice basket. People can put things in their basket. You can associate images with it. You can have any additional information on that particular product as well, again, using the idea of display tabs. And then people can put things in their basket, and then they can add as many things as they would like, and then they can go to their basket to check out, and you'll see there. So not everybody uses the shop, but it can be very useful if you've got simple membership products that you would like to sell as well. So that's a little bit about the portal. Now, obviously that can be branded. I'm showing you that Subscribe 360. Obviously that would be made to look like your existing website. It also comes with a single sign-on technology, and we're using a thing called Azure B2C. The idea being that, for example, if you have other online systems, this is using an industry standard single sign-on mechanism. That means, therefore, that we've tied this in with things like Moodle, other learning management systems. It can be tied into just about any other system that supports single sign-on. So it means that your member has got one username, one password, and they can log into all the systems. And it just means as well that you're not keeping track of all the passwords, etc. Again, this is using a Microsoft technology called Azure B2C, and it just means that your customers are in control. They're in control of their identity. They're in control of their password. You don't need to go anywhere near it. And again, it's all secured by Microsoft as well. check I've covered most of the key things. So I hope that gives you a flavour of Subscribe 360. Obviously, we just have an hour today, so I've just given you a little bit of a flying tour. But if anybody has any questions in the last few minutes, I would be delighted to try and answer them. If there's anything anybody would like to see, please just ask, unless there's no questions. And I think there's a chat window there, so if anybody does have any questions, please just pop it in the chat. No? Well, I do hope that today was useful, and thank you very much for coming along and attending. And if there aren't any follow-up questions, then please just ask myself or Cameron. I'm sure we'll put something out to all attendees after this. So again, if you do have any follow-up questions or you would like a more in-depth demo, then please just ask and we would be happy to arrange it. But thank you very much for today, and I'll leave it at there. But thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.